And we should now be live. Good evening, everybody. Oh, I can get rid of that now. There we are. Lovely. And how are we all doing this evening? Welcome to the usual Sunday stream. I think we can take a name off of this list as well. We've got Malosasaurus now, don't we? So we can take that off. I probably should have done this before the stream started, but I was getting a cup of tea, so I didn't have the opportunity to. There we go. And welcome back to ISLA Sauna. Not ISLA Sauna. ISLA SODOR. And we are back to basically make the walkthrough. This is today's job. I want to make all of this walkthrough area, do all the environmental work, get all the dinosaur species in here. If we do that reasonably quick, do the science center area as well, so that we can get on with doing probably the other side of the park next time. Yes, I do mean that is ISLA SODOR. Yes, Joshua. So I'm just going to get started straight away. Now, I want to do all the environmental stuff before we put the dinosaurs in here. So I'm actually going to get started on... The desert side is pretty much completed. So I'm going to start working on the Boreal Forest side, which is going to be what's over here on this side of the enclosure. And we're going to use the... not those ones. We want these ones. Right, so I'm going to start with the biggest trees and work my way down the list, essentially. Okay, start with the big trees and then just keep working our way through them. Yeah, Joshua, the whole point of this map was, or this island is actually shaped like the Isle of Sodor map from Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas the Tank Engine was one of my childhood favourites when I was a kid. And I couldn't think of a suitable sort of shape for the island I wanted to build for this particular square map, and I thought, oh well, I'll just create my own island of Sodor. And actually it's turned into a fairly good build as well. I'm quite happy with how this particular island is turning out. That's good. Oh, Dane just got up and broke every bone in his body by the sounds of it. You right?
No! My legs just killed themselves. Also my left arm.
So, how is rest of chat doing? I can see there's a few of you in here, but not many of you are talking. Let's get some chat going while I'm doing the very boring work of placing down trees everywhere. How's your weekends been? Have you been up to anything interesting? Did anyone watch the Vegas Grand Prix for Formula 1? If you did, I'm curious as to what your opinion of it is. Gojira. We have Redwoods, but we need Sequoias as well. We do. We need some... I mean, honestly... this is going to be something that will inevitably come up when I do my big end of game development review, which I have a horrible feeling may be soon. So it was always a bit disappointing to me that the taiga and the alpine biomes were very, very similar, if not identical pretty much. And I feel like they could have tried a bit harder to give us some more, you know, unique foliage for the two environments. Blimey, making this look forested is proving to be quite tough. Hello, Sean? Cyan? How do you pronounce your name? Is it Sean or Cian or... I started watching Life on Our Planet. Yeah, I saw the first part of that. Wasn't impressed. I have wanted to watch the rest and potentially do a video on it, but I'm not prepared to pay Netflix to watch the rest of it. As much as I like Morgan Freeman's voice, I don't really like him as a nature documentary person. And the first episode of the show was not particularly good. I actually thought it was kind of boring. And the CGI was awful. Not as awful as Stephen Fry, but God, it was bad. So yeah, I didn't see it as worth spending Netflix's subscription fee on. Time for some bushes. And then we're going to have to put down some bigger trees, I think. Just to fill some of these gaps in. You know, I don't think that looks too bad, actually, considering that's just pretty randomized. I'm going to put some fallen logs down in here, and also put down some orange trees, and a couple of European trees as well, just to give us a little bit of more variation in colour, but I don't think that's too bad so far. Can we put Paky Rhino in the Redwoods? Well, the problem with that idea, Barger, is that there's no way Paky Rhinosaurus is an acceptable animal for a walk-through enclosure. Remember, there are going to be people walking through here entirely, so it's all got to be stuff that wouldn't, you know, kill. it's got to be of a certain size and a certain nicety. And Paky Rhinosaurus is still quite a big animal, covered in spikes, and tends to like, you know, running at stuff and smashing it up. So Paky Rhinosaurus will not be going in here. We can make a Paky Rhinosaurus enclosure elsewhere and give it a Redwood style enclosure. Perhaps here. I think that would look quite nice backing onto the hotel. But definitely not in the walkthrough. Yes, Shin. No worry. I'm just gonna call you Taylor because like your surname is easier to pronounce for me. I know for a fact that's Taylor. You don't have to pay Netflix though. Well, shit. Okay, how do you pronounce it then? Because I have seen a lot of different pronunciations and spellings and stuff. As a teacher, some kids' names were pronounced completely differently to how they were spelled. It completely threw me for a loop sometimes. I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
No, I think I met magic before. I just actually add the actual magic as an item on my list to say, hey, this is what magic is.
Let's have some small trees to start with.
I put it in as like
Okay, and let's have some reds amongst them.
I have four edit magics.
And then let's go for some. We need some quite bushy sort of greenery. That kind of, not that bushy, that level of bushy. Yeah, I think that's fine. Need some room for the dinosaurs. Don't worry, the dinosaurs are going to be all over the show. There's going to be plenty of. I mean, people walk up to bison all of the time, and nothing has happened, right? Well, you say that, Barger, but I think in the UK, cows are responsible for the most number of deaths out of any other animal in the country. When it comes to sort of risk assessment, you always have to assume the worst is going to happen. And when you've got Paky Rhinosaurus, I think you're going to say the worst is always going to happen. What sort of ground coverage, foliage do we want? Probably ferns. Let's turn the intensity down. Let's put a few in there. I want to try and keep as much of the ground texture as possible. I want some of the brown still. That's not gonna work, I don't think. It keeps trying to give me those fruity ones. Yeah, let's get rid of all that. Let's just go with the bog standard. And just do it kind of lightly. No, nothing too severe, just some light coverage. Yeah, I think that's light enough. I'm actually going to go over with the cracked mud texture in some places as well. It would be wonderful if that rain stopped, because I can't see what I'm bloody doing. Yeah, that'll do. It's Kian. Ah, okay. Sorry, Kian, right. Hey, random question, but do you think Jurassic World as a theme park should have had so many more dinosaur species than what it had displayed on the website? The park felt underwhelming. I mean, Tarek, you could say that was one of the problems I had with Jurassic World, the movie, was this idea that they didn't have dinosaur species that they could have just recreated. They had to go and create a hybrid, and it's like there's something in the region of 700 dinosaur species that we know of. The idea that there weren't enough dinosaur species that they could have placed in the park is laughable. As is the idea that people wouldn't be coming to the park to come and see it. And as my buddy Nerd Guy Productions pointed out, like, every time we saw the park, it was absolutely packed. Like, there were always people in the park. It was busy. So this idea that, like, the park was experiencing a downturn in guest numbers, it's like, what? It's just laughable. It's so stupid. Right, I forgot that I wanted to put some logs down for this particular area. Oh, right.
It is slightly sinister than it is.
Right, we're going to put 5 down in here. And we're just going to find some places that we can sort of put them. You always have to assume some dumb influencer is going to try and slap the damn thing. Exactly. That's one of the problems of risk assessment. It's like, yes, you could say that people shouldn't be stupid and try to stick their arms through a fence to touch a dinosaur. But you could also say, well, the company should assume that people are going to try and do that and should stop people from being able to do it in the first place. That's one of the many legal loopholes, I suppose, of things. Right, that's a little better. We've got some logs in there. We'll have dinosaurs in there as well eventually, but I just want to replace the terrain that I just accidentally flattened with the logs I placed in there. move that a bit. It was a little rough. So the other thing we're trying to do with this area is ensure that the dinosaurs kind of stay around the food and water sources and don't wander out the gates. Which might be tricky to accomplish. But we'll see. Oh, I forgot. We need some rocks in here. That's what this area was missing. I thought it looked a bit bland. I was like, it needs rocks. Also, I apologise for the micro stutters that keep happening, but unfortunately that's just Jurassic World Evolution 2. Can't do anything about it. Let's put a couple more logs in here. Put a couple of smaller ones down here. Okay, and let's switch rock types for around here and put just a few in.
Just hearing I have a 7-man animal handling and then just praying if I can say get back here.
It's fine. And let's kind of want to go with like quite a lot of flowers for this area.
After all, this is how big are the horses are they?
Kind of give them like a grassy meadow sort of thing.
So my monster hunter gives me advantage on climbing things which are larger above. Which is amazing because it's really it's kind of scout.
Nice.
Entirely.
Oh blimey! Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on chat, but I'm also trying to get this walkthrough built. Speaking of Paky Rhinosaurus, is it mirrors the animal in the game a design amalgamation of 3 species? It pretty much is. I agree with you, Koshira. The Paky Rhinosaurus that I always remember as a kid was the species that had the round, like, nose bump with the spike in the middle. And then at some point it switched to this like tumor-like lump on the nose, and I don't know when that happened. It's genera. There's something like Tyrannosaurus is a genus, not a species. Yes, Barger. Technically, to be correct, that's correct, but you know, I call them separate species. So it's fine. I mean, I'm kind of fine with the hybrid route they took because eventually they'd have to introduce them somewhen. But yeah, it just felt so little because having 20 species in the park just felt so weird. But as you say this, what dinosaur would you have introduced in Jurassic World as the new main antagonist instead of the T-Rex? Well, I would have... Well, okay, primarily, Tarek, I think one of the problems with your thinking, and I think this is one of the problems that Jurassic World also has in general, is this idea that dinosaurs are either antagonists or friends of the human characters. They are not. They are animals. They are neither antagonists or protagonists. They're just animals. Now, you could argue that the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park were a danger to the cast, which is certainly true. They were. But it was only ever because the animals happened to be in the same places as the cast. You didn't have a situation like the Spinosaurus or the Indominus Rex, where they deliberately went after the human characters. So I think you have to be very careful when you're using terms like antagonist and protagonist for the dinosaurs. Personally, I don't think Jurassic World needed an antagonistic dinosaur. Because you had the perfect possibility of a problem with the raptors. If you absolutely had, if you were determined to have an animal in there that would be your antagonistic animal, I probably would have gone with Giganotosaurus. Instead of introducing it in the very last movie, introduce it in the first movie and have it be your antagonistic dinosaur for all the movies that came after. Because if, Dominion added this dinosaur and we barely got to see any of it. So I feel like they should have just used the Giga instead of the Indominus Rex. But then I also kind of liked what they were initially going to do anyway, which is to claim that what they called the Malosasaurus at that point in the film development was going to be a brand new dinosaur that had been recently discovered, and then they recreated it and it all went wrong. Like, I kind of feel that that's an equally good idea for the film, and I don't understand why they switched it for this we're creating a genetically modified monster. It's like, why? The initial idea of the Malosaurus was good. You didn't need to change it. And I know that some people would say, well, the idea of genetically modified hybrid dinosaur is a bit, fits with the idea of humanity playing God and blah, 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 and everything else. My problem with people defending it with that excuse is the rest of the film just isn't that intelligent. The Jurassic World movies are just not that smart to warrant even them trying to be big and profound with a message about genetic modification. They're just brainless action movies now. So if you're going to, lean into that. Stop trying to make it something it clearly isn't and was never supposed to be. Sorry, Kian, I was just going on a rant there. I didn't actually see chat. Did you ask a question? Can you pronounce it? Yeah, it's Kian, isn't it? I did. I've literally just pronounced it, haven't I? Or am I not pronouncing it correctly still? Well, I apologize. Like I said, I am also trying to build this enclosure, and you are on my other screen, so. And Tarek has been sending some long messages, so unfortunately things get bumped away. I will try to keep a better eye on the chat. I don't like that. That's not even center, is it? better. I don't know what to do with this central area. Maybe just keep it simple. Yeah, it'll do.
An oil derrick is like those offshore pumps you see.
Right, seating. Man, right now I'm just chilling with some people in a Minecraft server building the FNAF 1 location. Interesting. In fact, the other day on Twitter I saw a new project someone is doing. FNAF Live or something? I can't remember the name. But it's basically the first FNAF game, but they're, you know, fully animating it entirely, so you don't have, you know, just the screen switching from one screen to another. You have a fully animated environment and all the robots fully walk around animated entirely, like they did in the VR game. But they're doing it for the first game. It looks very impressive, actually. The quality of the animation is suitably creepy. If Frontier brings back the Doctor Wu hybrids, the Ultimasaurus should be in the pack to make it more worthwhile. I'll keep my opinion on the Ultimasaurus to myself. No, I won't. I hate the Ultimasaurus. Oh god, it's such a frat bro dinosaur. The Ultimasaurus is just a frat bro in dinosaur form. It's so over the top. It is a fan game burger. The Ultimasaurus is the average Texan in dinosaur form. Quite possibly. I mean, I'm not entirely sure we'll ever get all the hybrids back for this game. And the only reason I say that is because it seems a bit strange to me that Frontier haven't given us the hybrids that were missing. Because it would be, in my opinion, like the very first thing that I would consider. If I knew that, you know, if I was the Jurassic World Evolution 2 CEO, and I knew that we weren't having those 3 hybrids in the game when it launched, it would probably be the first DLC I brought out. It doesn't make much sense for me for it to be delayed this long if they're going to add those 3 missing hybrids. The only reason I can see them taking so long is they're making it part of a much bigger expansion. But at the same time, why has that expansion been delayed? Well, perhaps because they wanted to get the Dominion content out, which was delayed because of COVID and the release of the film. I think...
Don't worry.
I'm not sure they're coming. Which will be sad. I miss the Stegoceratops. I really do miss the Stegoceratops. I want to switch to the rocks for this one. I'm just doing this primarily to try and give the dinosaurs some very clear routes to and fro. You know, we want them to walk basically this between these flamey posts. We don't want them to just wander aimlessly around. So you can see basically what we've done is that we've given them like a route from this water to this food, to this water and food, and back again. Well, that's something I would suggest that you do with your really big enclosures. Spread food and water out to try to give them a route around the enclosure, because otherwise they just tend to sit in one space and they won't move around. Fletcher, what do you think the next DLC or expansion pack will be? Or is the game just dead? I don't know. According to the Steam data mining for this game, they have recently updated something about the version. There's been something that they've uploaded as a test, which is usually what they do before releasing DLC or stuff like that. Do I think another DLC is coming? Probably. I think it will be the last. I think development will end after it. Primarily because I don't think Frontier has the manpower anymore because of all the layoffs. But also just because I think the game has reached a point now where there's very little more that they can do with it. So I think the next DLC will be the last. Whether that's a proper DLC or an expansion, I honestly don't know. My issue with it being an expansion is, what are they going to do for that expansion? Because so far, all of the expansions have been related to the films or the movies, to the films or the TV well, it's basically been Dominion. That's it. The expansions have always been about Dominion. And we don't have that. You know, we've done and dusted. We've got all the Dominion stuff in. So the expansion would have to be something entirely new. And they haven't shown any willingness to do something entirely new. So I don't know. I also think it is especially telling that some of the recent updates, which we all expected to be quite significant, have not been significant. And I think that's especially telling of the future of the game. I don't think we're going to have very big stuff. I mean, I could be wrong. We've all been wrong before. People were pretty sure Jurassic World Evolution 1 was dead, and then we got the Return to Jurassic Park DLC. And if Frontier does, you know, Frontier has a reputation for not communicating with its fan base, because they think that drives hype. So perhaps there is something massive coming, and we are just all being I'm being pessimistic, as I usually am. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that the next DLC was the last, and potentially was not exactly massive either. I hope it's not, obviously. I I do hope it's worth buying. But I have my doubts. But then I always do. That's the sort of person I am. I think people unfairly characterize me as overly pessimistic about gaming. The problem is, if you don't go and read the articles about the game companies, and if you don't look at the wider industry, it's easy to be positive. But when you start looking at all the problems that the industry has, the layoffs, the wider picture of gaming, then you very quickly start to see problems and where the pessimism comes from. If you're just a player, then positivity is easy. But if you look at the wider picture, then that's where you see problems emerge. I guess they're running out of ideas. Well, you say that, but you know, when I did that CEO video that I did, those ideas for the expansion packs, the free updates, the DLCs, it wasn't difficult for me to write that script. That script took me about an hour to write up, and it wasn't difficult for me to do at all. What was most difficult was me finding images to go with the stuff that I was talking about, which is why I had to use AI-generated images for some of them, because I just couldn't find the sort of thing that I wanted. So I don't think it's a matter of running out of ideas. I think it's either a matter of them not having the imagination and Universal in the background kind of prodding and poking at them and saying they're not allowed to do it because this is Universal's IP, and Universal wouldn't know a good thing if it danced naked on a guitar saying this is a good thing. It's just my opinion. I hate Universal, if I haven't made that clear. When me and Nerd Guy Productions did our video retrospectively reviewing the first Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, the amount of trouble I had with the copyright problem, with them, you know, striking it for copyright, even though I wasn't breaking the copyright because we were using small clips and we were talking over it. We didn't have the audio from it at all, and we were talking about it in a review, so it fell under freedom of free use. They still stopped us. And it pissed me off no end. So screw Universal. And I don't care about being blunt about that either. I'm not, like I've always maintained, I'm not doing YouTube with the idea of becoming a big influencer and, you know, or anything else. I'm going to stick to my opinions. It's also probably why no matter how large I ever get, game companies probably won't ever like me. Because I am way too opinionated. And I'm happy about that, kind of, personally. I hope this isn't too many light fixtures.
I love how we both have one perception like, yes.
Okay, I think we're ready for species now. Now this is going to be quite a long list of species that we need to go and grab for this, because we're obviously going to have more than one species in here. So Minmai is definitely going in here. Let's just save. And go to main menu. Minmai is obviously going in here. Hello, my name is Gabe. Minmai. Dryosaurus is a good option. Dracorex? Yeah, I reckon Dracorex can go in here as well. Muttaburrasaurus. I think Muttaburra is a bit big. I mean, Muttaburra, I think, weighs like several tons, so... What other small animal? I mean, I might put a few Oviraptors in there as well. I know we've already got Oviraptors in the park, but I think I'm just going to put some Dominion skinned Oviraptors in there as well. What other dinosaurs did I put on my list? Amarga is way too big. Chasmo too big. Coelophysis too carnivorous. Crichtonsaurus too dangerous. Oh, Homalocephale. Too much like Dryosaurus and Dracorex, I think. So we'll keep Homalocephale out. Wow, actually, of the list of dinosaurs that I've got there, there aren't that many more that could actually go in an enclosure like this. Right, Minmai. Where is Minmai? What sort of skin shall we have? I want a couple of different varieties. Okay, let's do it by biome, actually. So Minmai, what biome are we going to say the Minmai is from? Are we going to say it's from the redwood one, the deserts one, or the sort of temperate side? Because that can help guide skin choice. Minmai is such a redwood dino. Okay, so Tarek says redwood forests. So greens and browns, I think, for that. Let's go with Svalbard and Kalkarana, because I like how it looks kind of like it's got a mossy back for that one. So Svalbard and Kalkarana. And then let's try and go for something that's like the other, a bit more vibrant. Let's go for Amazon rainforest. No, too bright. Limpopo. Yeah, let's go for Limpopo River and the Pelophylax. So that one kind of looks like you've got a tree bark on the back instead. So you've basically got two sort of parallel sort of perspectives. One that looks like a tree with moss on it, and one that looks like moss with a tree on it, if you get what I mean. Right, Dryosaurus. Dryosaurus, I think, has temperate written all over it. So let's go for... Let's do Chaplin Valley and... Quite like that one, actually. Chaplin Valley and Kalkarana. Kalkarana. And... so that was grey, wasn't it? Sort of, no, green. Let's go with Killian Mountain. Killian Mountains and Pelophylax. Let's get some colour in here. And we're doing 2 skin colorations per animal, apart from the Oviraptor. All the Oviraptors will be Dominion skin. Dracorex is going to be therefore our desert dino. So let's do Sonoran Desert with... Ugh. Dracorex's skins are awful. Sonoran Desert and Rana. And let's do Death Valley. Yeah, let's do Death Valley with... I think Death Valley in the blue just about works. So, Death Valley and Papurana. So that's, what, 4 species? Do we think 4 is in... I think 4 is too few. I feel like we need another species in there. I just think Amarga, it's too big for a walkthrough enclosure. And Ceratopsians are too dangerous. Stegosaurs are too dangerous. Crichtonsaurus is... again, I think too dangerous with that club tail. And Jambia, so I'm trying to avoid using mod species for this park because I want to do a park of just modded species, Gajira. And also it's not small. Well, not small enough, in my opinion. Anyway, also, can I just say this one is getting a mod spotlight video at some point. The Phaslosuchus. Archosaur relative of Postosuchus, but I think it looks absolutely brilliant. I love how this thing looks. It's so cool. Again, just an example of what if Frontier opened up the game to modding properly. Just an example of what is capable of being done with the game. Anyway. Listro, it's just a bit small. It's too small for this particular habitat. Myosaura is too big. Minmai we're already going to have. Morus Intrepidus. I mean, Morus Intrepidus would work, but I think it will panic the other dino. Well, actually, no, it won't panic them, but we'll have to put some... But again, it's a carnivore. Risk assessment would go nuts. Facing the same problem every time. We need small species like Hypsy, Ophnelia, Protoceratops. I mean, Protoceratops, I think it's an absolute crime that Protoceratops is not in the game anyway. Like, Protoceratops, come on, dudes. It's like one of the most famous dinosaur species. Should bloody well be here. Sinosauropteryx I want to build an enclosure for. Ooh! You know, it's not small, But it is basically like an ostrich, and I don't think it would be too dangerous to have if we had Struthy. I mean, most ostrich enclosures I've seen at zoos allow you to get pretty close to the fence. And even feed them. So I think Struthy wouldn't be too bad. And I think Struthy has some great colours. Shall we do... Actually, because I like Struthy so much, but a fatal kick by an ostrich. Yeah, you raise a good point there, Tarek, actually. God damn it. Curse me in my tendency to want to try and be realistic. Archaeonothermimus has terrible skins, though. What about a pterosaur? What if we put another pterosaur in here? Do you think they would stay? Dominion Dimorphodon. Sungaripterus. Sungaripterus is a good bet, because they're fairly small, aren't they? Okay. So, Sungaripterus. Let's just do the one skin pattern for it. Let's do something that just looks nice. No, I like that. Okay. Sungaripterus. So Yukon River and Papurana. Yeah, like if I put a couple of fish feeders in the two water sources, and they'll just travel between them, won't they? Right. Let's go back to the game. Pelican pterosaur, exactly. Blimey, we're already an hour in. Look how... Yeah, so we'll add a fish feeder. Pelicans are evil and dumb. They try to eat capybaras. I would say capybaras are more dumb. They just sort of sit there and let it happen. Yeah, because like Sungaripterus isn't too close, I don't think, to anything else. Well, we'll see how the Sungaripterus go. Let's put a fish feeder in... Wrong one. Put a fish feeder in there. And put a fish feeder in... over here, I think. There's a little water here, but there's no fish feeders there. And hopefully they've got like enough rocks and perches to land on. I might just give them like... Just put in a couple of perches in here as well. Just to see if they would sit on them. Let's put like a big one here. And let's like put a big one in here. Because one of the things we're going to have to be careful about is, you know, just over this wall is going to be a castle and grounds. So we don't want the Sungaripterus flying around the castle. So that one might actually be a bit close. Let's put this one over there. We've got a few things for them to sit on. Hopefully that will keep them where they are. I'm actually going to start with the Sungaripterus so that we can test how they work and get rid of them if we have to. So we went with Yukon River and Pap, didn't we? Yes. They can be the castle gargoyles. That is an interesting idea. I mean, the castle I'm going to build off stream, but the idea is that there's going to be like gardens around the edge of the castle, which will be in the center. And the idea is that it's not going to be there won't really be dinosaurs in here. It's just going to be like the castle is going to be an attraction in itself. But then you sort of bypass the castle area to get to whatever is back here, which I still don't know what is going in back here. I have no idea yet. I mean, the obvious answer is that a tour can go in here, but I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. A single compy. It's a bit big for a single compy. And obviously I need to build the mini golf course as well here. Have a dinosaur in here, probably Critosaurus or something like that. And then in here we'll have sort of the slightly bigger ones. So we're going to have a Margosaurus, Chasmosaurus, that sort of thing in there. We got another amenities area to put in down there. This is supposed to be raised, so I wanted it to be raised up. But the actual fence line is just going to be here. It's not going to go all the way up to that ridge. So this is just going to be empty space here. And then obviously we have our Ichthyosaurus lagoon possibly here. Yeah, and then, so we just need to figure out what this area at the back is going to be for. Right, let's fast forward to get them in. Are we not using Pyro? No. Pyroraptor is actually pretty big. It's the biggest raptor species in game, so I kind of think it's actually probably better to have Deinonychus if you were going to have a small raptor species in here. Well, it looks like they're staying relatively where I want them to be. Potentially slightly outside into the science center area, but as long as they don't go too far over, I don't mind. I mean, the Yeholopterus stayed pretty decently in their little block, so... Oh, sizing... JWE2, like, JWE2's scale is obviously a lot better than JWE1's is. JWE1's scale was awful. It was way out on almost everything. But there are still many parts of this game which seem to have a slightly balked up size. shall we say. Well, they sort of cross a little bit into this area, but I think that's just primarily because there's a fish feeder there. So I don't mind too much. I mean, I could get rid of that fish feeder and make them only have the one over there, but I do want them to kind of move around, and they are moving around. So, and I think they're an appropriate size for this sort of enclosure for sure. So, yeah, okay, happy with how that has turned out. Pyro is massively oversized to what we estimate the size of it to be. And Atrociraptor is laughable because we basically have nothing of Atrociraptor. It's ridiculous. So Svalbard and was it Svalbard and Kalkarana? Four of those. And Limpopo and Pelophylax. So these are our redwoods, aren't they? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, we're happy for the dinosaurs to move around their biomes, but the idea is that they stay kind of within the average area. Yeah, obviously, Atrociraptor is only in the game because it sounds like it has a cool name. That is literally the only reason it's in there. Right, next up is Dinosaurs. That's Cryolophosaurus. Dinosaurs, there we go. Like, think like a Hollywood executive. Yeah, or think like, you know, a dinosaur toy salesman. Pyroraptor sounds a heck of a lot cooler than Utahraptor. Who would win, a Tyrannosaurus or a Tarbosaurus? They are basically pretty similar. One is just the American version or the Asian version of the other. think we're going to go with 4 of each skin color for each of the, like, the actual dinosaurs that we've picked. In German dubs, they're all pronounced the English way because the German pronunciation would be ridiculous. The funniest localization change, I think, for me, is the McDonald's advert in German. Like, obviously, McDonald's' advert of, like, I'm loving it. In German, it sounds so, like, hostile. It sounds so aggressive and hostile. Always makes me giggle. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, can I just highlight here how ridiculously dumb the people AI is? They're going from hotel to amenity, crowding around this thing. Like, not a single person has gone to the bathroom. Oh no, there's a couple going to the bathroom, but like, they're definitely not moving around the park as much as I would have liked. My man, all AI is dumb in this game. Certainly true, Dreadwolf. Oh, see, they are going a bit far out of this area. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on these Sungaripterus. What are you sat on there? Oh, one of the rocks. Oh, this Sungaripterus is way off. Where are you going? You've just decided to take a seat there. Dude, there are much nicer rocks inside your enclosure. Why have you gone all the way outside? Where are you going? He's just like, yeah, fuck, these are my rocks. He is so far out of his area now. Oh, he's completely gone for a Burton. There you go. Yes, go back in, you stupid thing. Oh my lord. There's so many rocks and shit here. They've got perches, their food's here, and yet they still fly all the way over there. Bloody weird animals. Right, let's get the other Dinosaurs. He's a wanderer. Yeah. And Draco Rex is next. Hey, this is... How is this looking in terms of dinosaur presence? I think it's looking... No, not too bad. Where have all the Minmai go? Oh, there's a Minmai. I'm like, where have all the Minmai gone? I can't see them. And then I've remembered they're like tiny, aren't they? So many trees you can't see the dinosaurs. Yeah, but it's supposed to be the redwood, you know, forest side of the park, so it's got to be reasonably sort of chunky. I am going to open the gate. This is just going to be an experiment to see if the dinosaurs try to leave. I would rather the gates be open so that we can try and get people to cross. But I want to make sure that the dinosaurs don't escape first. Draco Rex. If frontier put viewing on the path, the guests would disperse more efficiently. Exactly. I don't understand why the paths don't count as viewing. Sonoran Desert and Rana. Death Valley and Purana. Oh. So the 2000 subscriber special, I'm still very much on the fence about what to do for it. I've been discussing ideas with many people. Something that me and Nerd Guy Productions was talking about doing was to do a live Jurassic World Dominion retrospective review. So you know how we did the videos for Jurassic World and for Fallen Kingdom. The idea was to do one for Dominion as well, but to do it live on YouTube via a stream. That would probably be a very long. It'd be a long stream, probably a good 4 or 5 hours, I would guess. But Tarek says that would be cool. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be watching the movie at the same time. I want to really point that out, because we can't get copyright strikes, obviously, by Universal. What I would probably do is just go and grab like a load of screenshots from the film and just have them on a looping video running through, or like have specific screenshots like a PowerPoint presentation and go through. But yeah, it would literally just be me and Nerd Guy Productions tearing the film up for a few hours. So that's potentially one thing for it. But I wanted to kind of have like a week of things to do. So I'm trying to come up with other video ideas or stream ideas that are kind of unique and would be particularly special. One of the problems is that like a lot of the video ideas and streaming ideas I have, we don't really have the subscriber count for it, because it's like, if you do a Q&A, like, it's all right if you have, say, Evo's 200,000 subscribers, because she'll get a couple of hundred questions, but when you only have 2,000 subscribers, you'll probably get like 20 questions, and it's not really enough to build a Q&A session with, so I'll bombard you with questions. Look, I do not appreciate being bombarded. We had that enough from the Germans during the Blitz, thank you very much. Overraptor, we're just going to have the 2022 skin. There we go. And I'm just going to spread these out. So we'll have 3 that side. We'll have 3 that side. And we'll have like obstructed. I'll have a few that side. Okay. I'm going to have a look at the map to make sure nothing is... What the flippity... Oh no, that is Yehalopterus still. I thought that was Sungaripterus then for a second. I was like, for heaven's sake, they've gone in... Where is this guy going? Look. This Sungaripterus is so far away from the rest of... You know, I think Frontier need to work on just how eager the pterosaurs are to sit on rocks as opposed to their perches. Because they are so determined to sit on rocks as opposed to perches. Maybe they need more rocks. let's put down more rocks for them. And see if hopefully that stimulates them to stay in the area. In the designated zone. Low health. What's going on here? What's wrong with you? Are you stuck again? He is. They keep getting stuck. That's the second one who's got stuck in that area there. I think it's this bush. Or one of the... I think it's the bush. Are you alright now? You're alright now, I think. Okay. Anyway. They'll perch on the log viewer too. It looks really cool when they do. Well, I am thinking of having some log viewers like in this mountain area, like sitting in the mountain area, or along this side, like where the science center is, just in order to give guests a reason to walk through to the castle. Like I was going to have a couple of viewing like things in here, so they have to walk through that enclosure to get to the viewing thing. Okay, but it looks like they are perfectly happy to stay here. So, if we go and open this, and open this, and if we drop in, like, I'm just going to drop a random building in here, just to stimulate people to go to it. So let's just, like, drop in, like, a science center. Now, hopefully, that should stimulate people to walk through the exhibit. It might take the persons there. Hey, this. There we go. Are these going to be our? No, they're not. They are not going to be our first guests to go in there. What's going on here? Oh dear. I think they're trying to figure it out. Is there a problem with the exhibit? Shouldn't be. It's easily big enough for them to get through, surely. A hotel or gallery might work better. True. Or it could just be, you know, that the AI is dumb. What if let's try sticking like a viewing tower or something over here. Let's see what happens. Because the paths are connected, so it's clear that it's considered connected by the path route. And I don't think anything is actually interfering with the pathing. Because I know they can walk through these gates. Yeah, there you go. You were correct there, Gojira. The viewing tower was just preferred. Which is weird, because, like, over here, we've got plenty of people coming to use the hatcheries. But the science centre, clearly not. Come, enjoy our dinosaurs, fresh in the knowledge that none of them will ever bite. Oh look, they're even taking different routes. That's exactly what I wanted them to do as well. Look at them all, like little ants. Should I give Amphibia a second chance? Time-sensitive question, eating popcorn. I've never heard of it, Jacob, so I have no idea. Ah. We have discovered something. This Dinosaurus has escaped. Interesting. I wonder why he was stimulated to escape. Oh, he's coming back. No, he's decided not to come back. Hey, you. No, you're gonna come back here. It's this clump of foliage. He was after this specific clump of foliage. No foliage for you. There, that should hopefully stop attracting dinosaurs to go that way. I can see you there, Minmai. I know exactly what you're doing. No. You are not allowed that way. You will stay there. We are going to have to keep a lookout, I think. Yeah, go away, Sungaripterus. You don't belong over here. Yeah, we're going to have to keep a lookout. I don't think it's going to work 100% perfectly, but I think it will work enough for it to... I'm sure it's fine. Just leave him be. But you'd say that if it was a Rex nerd guy. The grass is greener on the other side. Quite possibly. Next time, keep the food towards the center of the area. Yeah, yeah, there's that fine line to cross between... Minmais have begun to fight. What? Where are you going? Where are you going? What exactly... Where is this thing desperate to get to? Oh god, they're all They are all crossing. Where? Why are you two going there? No. Nil point. And nil point. Right, let's just get rid of any of the... Like, let's just try and give them a really big amount of gap between food and rest of enclosure. I can see this being something I have to keep an eye on There is no food here. It's just water. Oh, they're doing it to get around to the other side. Like, there's nothing I can do about that, particularly. The only thing I could do is shut the gates, which I don't want to do, because I want people to move through the habitat. You know, if this was Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, I would have a pair of avoidance beacons there and just convince them to leave the area. You know, I think Evo did something where she, like, put one of the Jurassic Park wall sections over and it stopped them. I wonder if that's potentially a way of preventing any escapes. Let's, I mean, it's a bit... It's a bit higgledy-piggledy. So, you know, people can still get through. Nope, it didn't stop the Dinosaurus. The Dinosaurus just went straight through. Where did that bloody thing go? Where has he go? Where did he go? He came back. I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on it, and if they escape, they escape. These things happen. Right, so we've got about half an hour, which means we have time to build or start building the Science Center. So basically, this is to be like the posh sort of, like, I say sciencey area of the park. It's where you're going to have like the visiting scientists come to the park. So there's going to be accommodation specifically just for scientists. There's going to be like obviously the scientific buildings and such. This is not going to be a guest area, but we want it to look nice because we want to get lots of scientists to come here. So there's a few key buildings that I want to make sure we have here. Obviously, the Science Center itself. The DFW one is a little thingy. The Biosian Fossil Center. Definitely. Probably the Paleo Medical Facility down here as well. And since we're going to have that, we probably want to also include the response facility down here. So these are like the 4 sort of big building types that I want to have. And then we're going to use the... so these staff centers and the Biosian staff centers are going to be for like our scientist accommodation. So I'm just going to figure out where I want stuff right now. thinking... So yeah, those are all the buildings we want to put in. I think I'm going to start with the accommodation side. And I think I'm going to have the accommodation down here. If only we had the greenhouse back. Exactly. Yeah, I know. Staff center not connected. Bum 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 bum. I think we'll use these staff centers for something else. So that's good, and then let's do so one out, one out. Let's do like a thick path ending. Whoops. No, you know what? Actually, I'm happy with that. Let's do that. That could be an expansion in itself, bringing back all of the maps, buildings, fences, and other missing content from the first game. Yeah, I mean, when I was doing my CEO video, that was one of the things I legitimately suggested as a DLC, to have that come back as a Yay, Holopterus. What's wrong with you? Stuck. That's what's wrong with you. You alright now? Did you free yourself? You did. You did free yourself. Jolly good. I want to have them, like, exactly on this path. I mean, because there's a lot of buildings that the first game had, which I would really love to have back. Or just, like, the elements from them. So that we could do some cool new designs with the stuff. Or trees? Should do some like a little fir trees down here. Speaking of kidneys, would anyone like to unwillingly give me both of yours so I can afford the Lego UCS Star Wars Venator class Star Destroyer priced at almost €700? I know how you feel. The Venator is my personal favourite Star Wars ship, and I would love to have the Venator, but if there was an expensive Lego ship that I was going to get, it would be the Titanic set, because, you know, Titanic is my thing. That would be the one I would be saving up for or getting if I ever, you know, had the disposable cash quickly. Talking of cash and money is probably a good thing to point out. So obviously Triclaw has now, you might notice, gotten our donation system sorted out. Basically what happened was Google was basically being jerks and wouldn't accept my ID, which is why they weren't allowing me to access any donations or anything people gave us. That has now been fixed, and Google have finally stopped being pain in the arse about it. So we now can have monetization properly. And so we've decided we are not going to run adverts on the channel. Basically, I am not going to be turning on adverts. Primarily because I think adverts just piss people off. I get really annoyed with adverts coming on for videos that I'm watching, especially when they're nothing to do with anything that you might want to buy. So there will be no adverts on Triclaw Gaming. But we are going to obviously have the donations on, the super chats on. So that's basically how we're going to monetize the channel from this point. We're going to stick to donations in super chats. We might set up like a Patreon or something similar. I know there's a few different websites that do something similar to it. So I'm going to go and do some research and look into like what website kind of offers what I kind of want. But yeah, we are not going to monetize the channel with adverts, because I hate the way the Google does adverts. Hello, Turbo Soul. Especially when it's a bloody Tesco ad. Yeah, that's what, like, that's the one thing that drives me nuts about adverts, and it's why I hate them. It's not that the adverts exist on channels, it's that the adverts are never for anything you could ever want. Like, I had a... this is going to be quite a funny story, but is a perfect example of it. I had a run a few months ago of YouTube videos on my phone just showing me adverts for feminine self-enjoyment products. if people catch my drift. And that is clearly not the sort of thing I need to be looking at. So, yeah, I am definitely not going to use the Google and YouTube advertisement system. I'm gonna have to put some manual trees in just to fill in some of these gaps. So the way I see this is that, like, these are like sleeping areas. No, these would be like offices and places for them to do their work, and these would be like sleeping sections where you'd have like single rooms for sleeping in, but they've got like 2 or 3 beds per room. Like, it's not going to be a massively full staff area. It's just supposed to be like a representation. We're going to wall it off. We'll put like a wall around it, and then we'll have obviously decoration and stuff. If I was going full on with the mod use, I would have like tennis courts and stuff here, but I want to kind of keep the mod use in this particular area to lightweight mod use as much as possible, just in case, you know, that possible DLC does drop anytime soon. I thought you were going to say beauty or hygiene products. Oh no. No, I was being suggested adverts for self-enjoyment. There we go. And then we just need to put the trees back in here that we've somehow managed to lose. Apart from there, because it won't put any trees in, will you put some ginkgos in for me? You will, but nowhere near as many as requested. So we're going to have to... I'm going to have to stick in some manual trees again. It's neither here nor there. No, just fill in that gap. And we'll put some more silver birch in here. I think what we'll do is instead of having these along this side, we'll just have some more of this fence. Yeah, that works. And then we'll put some more fir trees down in here. You can never tell what ad you might get. Yeah, but that's my problem with like the way that ads on YouTube works. Like, you don't have any control over how many there are, and you don't have any control over what adverts there are. They just place, you know, they just put them in, and I don't want to annoy the viewers of the channel by them getting random adverts, because I know from my own viewing, like, I've been watching a video and then an advert will pop up and I'll just be like, oh, for fuck's sake, and I will stop watching the video. Which is unfair to the creator, I accept, but at the same time, it's like, no one. And the other thing, like, and again, being honest here, because I don't think a lot of creators actually talk about this, the amount of money you get for turning ads on your videos is actually pretty crap. Like, it's not, compared with, say, setting up a Patreon or a GoFundMe or something like that. Like, actually getting ad revenue is pretty difficult. I don't understand why so many YouTube creators do it like that. I mean, I suppose once you get big enough, it kind of works, but I don't know. It seems like you get so little money for having the adverts there, and all the adverts do is piss off the community. Seems like a weird way of doing it, but that's just my thinking. We'll obviously have some seating and stuff around here. And I think we'll put in like a wall section. Would nicely fit in there. Excellent. It's not excellent because it's not quite in the middle. There we go. Have you played City Skylines 2 yet? No, I haven't. So, I was massively looking forward to City Skylines 2. Like, it was going to be the game that I had been waiting all year for. And I wanted to do it on the channel and like start it as another game that I regularly play on the channel, like a city builder, because I love city building games. I mean, I did try and do some City Skylines 1 videos for this channel, but the problem with City Skylines 1 is, you know, it had been out for so long, there were other creators that did better City Skylines 1 stuff. So I'm like, I'll wait for City Skylines 2 to come out, and I'll start doing content for it when it comes out. You know, do it the proper YouTube professional way. And the game came out and is apparently really riddled with problems. What a surprise and shock, you know. Apparently there's lots of performance problems. They don't have modding. Like, one of the massive things about the first game was the prevalence of modding. For the second game, they've basically turned it off. which I don't understand the logic behind. The game is also lacking a lot of features the first game has. Like this, the basic, the general gist of what people are saying is that the second game is a step down in quality from the first, which is disappointing, and kind of means that I'm gonna wait until the game is, you know, better in terms of quality before I go ahead and buy it. It's frustrating and kind of sad, but I'm not willing to fork out a lot of money again for a substandard product. And until game companies, like, fucking figure that out, it's never going to improve. It's nice. Nice. However, that being said, one game that I have been impressed by, so Nerd Guy Productions has been playing the second Spider-Man game for me. Very impressed so far. Looks very, was very good, very polished. So, you know, if anyone likes Spider-Man games, then the second one looks very good. I'm personally not a Spider-Man fan. I'm not really a superhero fan. So I won't be playing it on the channel, but you know, if anyone was looking at it, it's a pretty quality product. Yeah, there's some rough edges here. I'm going to have to clean up a few of these areas. But that's the general gist of the first part of the Star Center, the, you know, the accommodation area. And then we'll have the other buildings going along. I think I'm going to have, like, it's a bit bigger than anticipated. Like, I might have that greenhouse. I might change the path structure around a bit and have a greenhouse here on the edge and just have it as like a, have like a gate going into it. And it be sort of like a greenhouse for plants or whatever. And then we'll have lots of other science buildings down here. Fill up this with forest so you can't see through. But yeah, I think this is working fine. We still have a Sungaripterus who thinks he's a Yehalopterus. Oi, you. No. You're over here. Stop flying away. But for the most part, this is working fine as a walkthrough enclosure, and I think it looks really good. The only thing I need to finish before I go is do the lighting. And I'm going to switch to this. What I want is like a slightly more blue. I want like a... No, that's too purple. I want like a blue light color. Maybe we'll just make it brighter. Yeah, that's alright. It'll look quite nice from the top as well, look like a water drop. We'll go for the same in there. Yeah, I think that's good. Fletcher, your ancient British instincts are telling you to claim land and create infrastructure. Don't fall for it. Ancient British instincts. Jacob, that's the British instinct at all times. But yeah, I think this has turned out really well. I mean, like I say, it's not finished yet. There's some rough edges to tidy up. I need to put some trees in here, cover up some of this invisible fence, cover up the fake boundaries of the fence line, put in some of those viewing logs along this mountainside so people can have like another view of the whole place. And there is of course going to be a viewing dome up here on this little lump, so I need to remove some trees from here so they can actually see down. But in general, I think this has turned out really well for a walkthrough. And it does work, you know. People will walk through these gates, as will dinosaurs, so it's worth remembering that. And I think it works. Look at them all. Let's take a quick screenshot with NVIDIA Ansel. I love this one. He's like a cat, isn't it? It's like, I want pets. Will the passing humans give me pets? Yes, let's get a good shot of the dryo. Where the heck are all the min? Like, oh, the minmi are in the long grass. Look at them all. They're so small and cute. Can I just, like, also, being rabid colonialism here, can I just point out how strange it is that Australia is home to the cutest ankylosaur ever, and yet everything in Australia now wants to kill you? Australia is, like, so dangerous, but during the dinosaur era, it had the cutest ankylosaur ever. It doesn't make sense. I like how this river has turned out as well. I think this river enclosure with the archway of rocks and everything, I think has turned out really well. Oh, look. There's a sungi down at the river edge. And an oviraptor. But yeah, I think this has turned out really, really well. And I love how divided between the biomes it is. So yeah, let's just take one more. Nice. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. It's 7 minutes past 11 here in Britain, so I'm going to head off now. I want to thank everyone for tuning in with me today. It's been quite an active stream considering there have been so few of you. So thank you everyone for talking, because at the end of the day, us streamers, we live off people coming and talking and saying hello and everything else. So thank you for tuning in with me. Next week, there'll be a Jurassic World Evolution 2 video. Hopefully I'll actually get the War Thunder video done. I'll do it bloody tomorrow if I have to. And there'll be a stream on Sunday. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, stay safe and good night.